Welcome back. I won't say Gundamers. We're over with that. If you watched the previous videos, it was a one-time thing. But anyway, today we're going to talk about who should you re-roll for before the game starts. And before I start, I would just like to say this is not the full list of URs. There is more. Here it is right here. There will be 13 in total. It's just that most of them, at least from my knowledge, their skills are not out yet. So the only information I do have is the 4 suits from the beta. And the aerial right here for some reason I guess was translated, but I don't know. It wasn't in the beta, at least from what I've seen. So yeah, we will talk about these 4 suits. Which one should you reroll for? Well, 5 technically, because the aerial is in the gacha, will be in the gacha. Not sure if any other unit will be better, because like I said, they do not show the skills. I don't know if it's on a JP website, but I can't find any. So we will go with the knowledge we have right here. Maybe they will be power crept or maybe they won't. So I will only be talking about these. If you want a full reroll guide, probably when the full game is out, I will talk about all these. But until then, here is the knowledge of these 5 units. And we will start off with, in my personal opinion, the second best, Gundam EX. Gundam EX is a tank with very high HP, very good energy. Not the best movement, but that's fine. Low attack, really good defense. Mobility, it's fine for what it is. It's a tank. The terrain is space, and I don't remember which one that is. I know this one is ground, obviously, but terrain isn't that big of a factor, but they do give bonuses, so do make sure to remember that. Anyway, here is its skills. Beam saver, power, 3,300, you know, your typical beam saver. Not really the best weapon it has. It's alright, mostly if you have to use it. Beam rifle, probably the second thing you'll be using. I'll rate them in terms of importance. Beam rifle, 3,200 power, 20 energy, 1 less than the beam saver, 100 less damage. I feel like the beam saver is just more. I mean, the beam rifle is better overall. You can upgrade skills. I do not recommend upgrading these. You want to always upgrade your EX skills because they are the damage dealers, the main things you want to use. Hyper bazooka, pretty good range, 2 to 4, 2 to 4, you know. These are long range attacks. You cannot use them if you're close up to the enemy, like a fire oven grid. 3,500 attack, 26 energy, 90% accuracy, so if you're really that unlucky. Decreased accuracy for 1 turn, inflict accuracy sound, 5% on the enemy, whatever, it's a thing I guess. If you're low on energy, this will probably be the second best thing. Beam rifle will be third, beam saber is probably the weakest. Here is the best thing it has, the thing you're going to be using the most, beam saber EX, 5,200 attack power, 47 energy, not that much compared to the other ones. 100 accuracy, very good range. Increases accuracy by 100, which is really good. Decreased attack for 1 turn, inflict attack down 20% on the enemy, which is really good for a tank. And really, and like I said, it has really good range. So you're going to prioritize upgrading this. Here it is at max power, 30% down. That's really good. At least starting off from the beta. Ability, increase max health by 15%. These are basically passives. When you upgrade it, you get passives. Level up your unit. Increase accuracy by 5, you know, it's whatever. Increase mobility by 5, it's alright. Like, these are basically meh. The hit part is really good. But yeah, overall, very solid. You're going to definitely want this unit as a tank. It's really good for UC. I don't know why I got out. Let me go back. Yeah, second best in my opinion. Really good for the UC title. You're going to really want this. Going to carry you. Oh yeah, that is Gundam. second best in my opinion. Sorry for the cut, there was noise in the background, but we will go next to Sazabi EX, and in my opinion, out of the 5 suits I am talking about today, it's probably the... Well, I don't know about the aerial because it's new to me, so if the aerial is worse than this, then this is the 4th best, but otherwise this is the least impressive one in my opinion. 71,000 health for an attacker, it's alright. Energy 300, really high. Movement is 5, really good. Attack is pretty high up there. Defense is pretty low for an attacker, but that's to be expected. Also, sorry if you can hear the fan, it's really hot in here. But mobility and attack are really good. Energy is also really good. Beam Tomahawk, Beam Shot Rifle, they're alright. 1 range, 2 free range. Like I said, these are basically the moves you have if you're pretty much out of options for your energy. 33,000, 32,000, and at max level they're 18 energy and 19 energy. It decreases by a little bit, but it's really not worth it. You want to waste the mats for your EX skills, so do not upgrade these unless it's really your favorite unit. But it's, in my opinion, I don't know how mats will be in the full game, but it just feels like a waste. Anyway, the second best skill, funnels with 5 range, which is really good. It is the best thing about this suit. It's range attacks with less remaining hit, higher damage, which, you know, alright, it's alright. 39,000 attack, 31 energy, and at max it will be 46,000, which, you know, it's alright. And for 28 energy, that's alright. But you're going to want to upgrade the long rifle, its strongest attack, which is also 3 to 5 range, really good. 55,000 attack power, which is really high. 49 energy, which is really high. Yes, you can upgrade it, but you know, it's still really high. Mostly every EX attack has accuracy by 100, so they will not miss. Deals more damage the closer you are to the enemy, which is kind of counterproductive because it has really long range, but they want you to get close. Not that big of a drawback, but you know, just weird. Here it is at max power, 66,000, which is really high. 44 energy, which is still on the high side, but eh. But yeah, 49 is, you're really gonna notice that. The ability, increase attack power by 50%, really solid. When hip is 50% or below, increase attack by 10. Again, kind of a double-edged sword because this thing isn't as tanky as I would like, but it can work, especially with the long range attack. That's basically a 25% attack up, which is really good if you do not run out of energy, because this thing will run out of energy. I know it's 300, but the 49 energy will really start to stack up. But yeah, this is basically a long range attacker. You want to be far away, which is weird, like I said, because the closer you are to the enemy, the more attack power you get. But yeah, that's the Sazabi. It's basically just attack, and waste your energy. Solid, but personally I wouldn't say it's amazing compared to the Exia. Exia is just a different beast. So let's go back to the other EXs. If it feels like loading. It did not feel like loading. I don't know why. I guess we'll just go here. Alrighty, let's get out the SSRs. We'll save Exia for last because that's my favorite and spoiler alert #1. Here's Phoenix Gundam. It is a bombardment yellow. Yellows are basically support. Like, they don't want to be frontliners, at least from what I saw. They're to support the team. So it's stats 72,000, you know, basic, really high energy, really good movement. 5 is really good. Attack 64,000 on the low side, decent defense 72, and 7,500 mobility, which is also really good. Beam Saber and Mega Beam Cannon. Mega Beam Cannon is solid because it has a decent range, so if you're really out of options, you can use that. Beam Saber is just Beam Saber, you know. Feather Funnels, when fighting, increase damage with B weapons by 10, which every attack this thing has is beam, so 39,000 attack, pretty solid. 31 energy, pretty solid. 2 to 5 range, really good. Basically a good attack overall. Yeah, basically a solid attack. But the Burning Fire Assault is its main attack. 43 energy, pretty high, but pretty low attack-ish too. But it's the effects of what matters. For one turn, inflict defense down 30% on the enemy, which is the highest from what I've seen so far. 5 range. It kind of makes up for the energy limit since you're going to start with 315. So this is the support unit that you will really want on your team. If you don't get it, GM Sniper 2 is pretty good too. It's an SSR that has 20% defense down. Not as good, but you know, it's a good substitute. But yeah, 30 for defense down is really good. At level 5 it is 40%, which yeah, with the 5 range it's going to be a really good support unit. I would put this as third best out of these. Increase max energy by 15%, which is also really good. These are its skills in game, like you can activate these. You have like a limit to how much you can activate. I think it's like 2, but yeah, max energy is really good. Every turn when you're faced with game, restore hit by 5, whatever, you know. But yeah, that's Phoenix Gundam Power Unleashed. Really solid for a support unit. You really want that defense down 30%. That's what it's here for. But yeah, third best and out of these in my opinion. I do not know about the aerial, we shall see. But yeah, definitely recommended. Let's see, let us go to the aerial now. I do not know what it does because it was not in the beta, at least from my knowledge, but here it is. It is also a bombardment support. 68,000 health, which is kind of low, on the low side. So 315 energy, like the Phoenix, I mean. 5 movement, 72,000 attack, which more attack than the Phoenix, which is good. 68,000 defense and solid, and 75,000 mobility, which is also solid. Beam saber, beam rifle, these are all basically the same. It's mostly the range is what matters. Beam rifle, decent range. Execution, whatever. 2 to 5 range, 39,000 attack power, 29 energy, 20% crit, which alright. Increase beam damage by 20. I'm assuming that's 20%, which you know, it's alright. This thing doesn't really have the highest attack. How much did it have? It's high, but like it's mostly if you're out of options, I guess. If you want to do a little bit of extra damage, here's the EX version. 5 range, which is always good. 54,000 attack, solid enough. 50 energy, which is really high. No crit bonus either. So for one turn, inflict defense down 20%. In my opinion, it seems like a watered down version of the Phoenix Gundam, and it's basically the GM Sniper 2, which I will cover, but with more damage, I guess, which whatever, you know. Increase max energy by 15% for every turn in your phase. We restore energy by 5, decent. Reduce damage taken by 30%. That's what's really good about the aerial. But the problem is this isn't really a tanking unit and it has really low health, so I guess it's alright. I would have preferred it was a tank, but there's an SSR version which is already a tank. I would recommend the SSR version just from reading this. If you have Phoenix Gundam, then I would just recommend using that. If you do not have GM Sniper 2 or Phoenix Gundam, I guess this is a good alternative. It has a little bit of tanking and a little bit of damage. It's kind of just like an all-rounder from what I see. Defense down 20 is always good to have, but 30% is obviously way better. How much does it increase by? Max? 30%. Yeah, same as Phoenix, but you know, you have to upgrade it, which whatever. Yeah, solid-ish. I don't know which one I would put between the last one, either the aerial or the Sazabi. You're probably going to get more from the Sazabi in the long run, so I say the aerial is probably the weakest. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and then the personal favorite in my opinion and the best, Exia with 71,000 health, really solid, 303 energy, 5 movement, 82,000 attack, which is really high. 61,000 defense, low, but you know, it's an attacker. 72,000 movement. Terrain is pretty much good on everything. That's what I like about the double O unit. They can just go anywhere. These skills are kind of useless, but if you really need to use them, then they're there. GN Sword, 3,000 attack. GN Sword rifle mode, 32,000. Whatever. 7 swords. Basically, if you do not have any energy for Trans Am or GN Sword X, I guess 7 sword is decent because it has really high attack and low energy. Here it is at max power, solid, I guess. And here is the good stuff right here, Trans Am. Well, I forgot to show the rifle mode, 38. These are basically your generic stuff, but if you really need to use them, then there they are. Here is the best thing about the Exia, which is going to give the bang for the buck. Trans Am, range 1 to 4, 45,000 attack power, really low energy. Deals more damage the closer you are to the enemy, up to 10%, which is really good. It has really good range, it doesn't really use that much energy, and it has really good attack power. Here it is at max, like 54,000 for only 34. That's really good, and up to 50% damage up. So yeah, here is the GN Sword X, which you're going to use the most. It's really good. Like, both of these are really good. Like, they are not throwaways. You're probably going to use them the most. GN Sword EX, range 1 to 3, 56,000 attack power and 50 energy, which is really high. Accuracy by 100%, deal more damage to the enemy the higher your remaining HP is. This is really important. Exia is basically a one-shotter. You want to one-shot, you do not want to take damage, and you want to keep spamming this because it's really good. Increase attack by 15%. I don't need to tell you that that's really good. When damage taken is 25,000 or less, there is no effect, which, yeah. Every turn when your face, we give restore energy by 5, which will be really useful when you're spamming the GN Sword X. I highly recommend you upgrade this. Look at its full power, 67,000 damage with decent range and 45 energy. It's basically, if you have full HP, that's a 15%. Then you activate this, that is a 30% damage up. I don't need to tell you that that's really amazing considering it has a high attack stat. So yeah, if you can tell, Exia was really busted. It was busted in a beta. You want copies of this, dupes and all that. From what I see, you can make multiple URs in your team. I don't know if they changed that, but yeah, you're going to want Exia, at least from what I see. I don't know if it's going to be power crept by any of these units. These are the starter units. But from what I see, you really want to get Exia. At least get one copy because it will carry you. Especially upgrade the GN Sword EX and then upgrade Trans Am. Because when you lose your HP, if you do, Trans Am will be your best friend because its range is really high and its attack power is really good. So yeah. That is Exia, really busted from what I can tell. It was busted in the beta, so yeah, roll for Exia if you want, you know, if you're going for the URs. Also, I would just like to say, URs, after they defeat an enemy, they get 2 bonus chances, which is basically an extra turn. Exia will take heavy advantage from that because it is a one-shotter. You want it to be a one-shotter, so you basically one shot, go to the next enemy, one shot, go to the next enemy, and then you end your turn. Yeah, he's really busted, at least from what I can tell. Sazabi was just not keeping up with it. It has 100 more attack, but I didn't really feel like it was doing much compared to it. But yeah, there is the URs, at least from the side right here, that are translated. First, second, third, fourth, and then fifth priority. These URs are freebies, so you do not need a reroll for them, you just need to earn them. I won't make a tier list because the game's not even out yet, so once the game's out, I will make a tier list. It's basically a reroll guide. You will do SSRs, like 80% of these are free to play, so I will only cover the ones that you can get from the gacha, which is Char's Gelgoog. Really solid for the Gundam, Gundam missions. It has decent attack, 77,000 for UR, almost 8,000. Meh defense. Mobility is pretty good and decent health for an SSR. Also, SSRs only get one bonus chance, so after you defeat an enemy, you only get one movement. Beam rifle, really good to the 4 range. The more closer you are to the enemy, the higher damage it will do. I don't really recommend upgrading SSRs unless the game gives out like a lot of mats. Kick is really good because you get increased critical damage by 20% if you manage to land a critical. You really want to pilot because pilots do affect your power and all that. You really do want to pilot that upgrades melee because you're going to want to take advantage of this. But yeah, as you can see, SSRs are a little bit undertuned compared to URs. So in the beginning of the game, people will probably use SSRs, so I will cover them, but I can see later down the line they probably won't be as good. So yeah, that's Char's Gelgoog, decent enough. Really just solid for the Gundam mission, so you're gonna want it. Hate that I have to do that. These are freebies. This is free. Prototype Camphor. It is also an attacker from the 0080. Whether there will be missions for that or not, I do not know, so I can't really recommend you go chasing for it. 4 movement, which is meh for an attacker. 65,000 health on the low side. 74,000 attack, meh. Defense is 54,000, which is really low, and 64,000 mobility, which, yeah, as you can tell, SSRs are just, Beam Saber, critical damage by 10, yeah, whatever. Shotgun, decent range, decent attack, decent energy, just decent attack. Giant Bazooka, probably its best thing to get more damage as far as you are to the enemy, with range 3 to 4, which is solid. 38,000 attack, 30 energy, just overall very solid. 90% accuracy. Might screw you over because some enemies, the higher tuned they are, the lower the accuracy. So yeah, decent enough. You're probably gonna want to just only use the Giant Bazooka. Long Ranger, increase attack by 10%, decent. And not really anything to write home about, just solid. That's going to be most of these SSR units, except for my King GM Sniper 2, which we will cover right now. I don't remember, this is a freebie. I think it was not. I don't remember. We'll cover it anyway though. Heat Hawk, decreased mobility by 10, which whatever. 90mm machine gun, really decent attack for what it is. 2 range, 19 energy. Grenade launcher, decrease attack by 20%, which is good for a tank. Low attack, decent energy, good range. Well, decent range. For a tank, it has really high HP, 81,000 HP, low energy, 4 movement, low attack, decent defense, and decent mobility. So basically a slow tank, but it's good, seems solid. Now we will talk about GM Sniper 2, which in my opinion will be the best SSR, at least from this guide right here. There will be like Rising Freedom and all that. I don't know what it does yet, but from my opinion, we're just watching right here. GM Sniper 2 is the way to go. Low HP, but you're not gonna even want this guy to be in the front lines anyway, so you're gonna put him in the back. Good energy, mid movement, decent attack, decent defense, really good mobility right there. Mostly on the ground, space, and I don't know the difference between these two. I forgot, it's been a while. Beam Saber, when fighting, increase damage done with beam weapon by 10, which, whatever, you won't really want to use this. Bullpup Machine Gun, again, you won't really want to use this either. Sniper Rifle, also one of the only SSRs that have a area attack. These are special attacks. Sniper Rifle is going to be your go-to, decrease defense by 20%, which is already good. Like I said, when I was covering the Phoenix and all that, this is the go-to if you don't manage to get either aerial or the Phoenix. Yeah, Sniper Rifle, 3 to 4 range, decent. Low attack power is, but good energy consumption. Decrease defense by 20. You're basically going to want to start off with the rifle, shoot, and then yeah. Also, give me a second real quick. Alright, back to it. Here is, but yeah, overall pretty solid. Decrease defense by 30%. If you really like the GM Sniper 2 and do not have the URs, I guess you could upgrade the Sniper Rifle. When does the 30% happen? At level 4. So if you really want to upgrade it up to level 4 for the 30% decreased defense to the enemy. Really solid. And here's its area move, which isn't as good as the Sniper Rifle, but I guess it's an option. 3 to 4 range, 35,000 attack, 50 energy, and it only increases your accuracy by 10, so there really is no point using snipe compared to the Sniper Rifle. They both have the same range, but this one decreases defense by 30, so like, why even use this? I was barely using it when I was playing, so increasing max energy by 10, which is good because you're going to want to spam the Sniper Rifle, and increase accuracy level 1, which yeah, whatever. So yeah, this is probably the #1 SSR I recommend getting, at least from this guide right here, because it really is solid and it will help you in the UC series. So that's GM Sniper 2. Let's check out the other SSRs, the ones that are available. Here is NT1 Alex. This was in the gacha. An attacker, 61,000 HP, pretty low. 257 energy, pretty mid. Mid movement, decent attack, kind of mid defense, and 64,000 mobility, which Beam Saber is decent enough. 33,000, 22 energy. That's slightly higher than the norm. Arm Gatling gun, increase critical damage by 20 if you can land it. So how much would that be? 25% crit, which basically you're getting the 25% crit and then the chance for the extra 20% damage, which seems solid. The range is mid. How much is that full power? That's honestly not bad. I kind of wish the critical chance was a little bit higher. But yeah, that seems solid. If you can land the crit, decent energy consumption, that seems decent. Beam rifle is its... Oh, it has a map move, I think? Or is that an EX? I think that is a strong move-ish. 2 to 3 range, 4,000 attack, 31 energy. Deal more damage the farther you are to the enemy, but it only has 3 range, so that's why it's only 5%. Decent. I think that's decent. I would rather be using the arm Gatling gun just for the crit chance. You never know. But yeah, seems like a decent attacker. A little bit RNG. Very just decent. Low defense though. Increased attack by 10%. Seems like a very budget attacker if you really like the Alex. I don't like the defense or the HP though, so keep that in mind because it is a close range attacker. So yeah, that's the Alex NT1. Decent. Let us continue. These are freebies. This whole line are free, so no point in re-rolling. This one. I don't remember this one. I think it was a freebie. Yeah, it was. This one was a freebie, so I won't cover it. D Gundam First, which is one of the original units for SD Gundam, made for this game, which is pretty cool. UC, Pro Tag, AEUG. Like, it didn't really impress me from what I saw, but 81,000 HP for a tank, solid. Mid energy, nah, that's good. Not great, but good. Low movement, really low attack, 55,000. Decent defense and low mobility, so you're going to just want to be tanking. Knuckle Crusher, 31,000 attack, 20 energy, only 1 range though, so meh. Magnet Anchor, 4 range, that's good. Low attack though, low energy cost, so decrease attack by 10%, which there are better units that do it. Even at level 4, 20%. The other units, the other tank that I was covering, I already forgot which one, but it was already 20% off base, so man, the only good thing about it is the range, but low attack power. And the drill gun, decreased mobility by 20%, which is alright. Probably the best unit that will decrease mobility. Decent range, high attack, but considering this two has low attack, it won't really matter. 37 energy and a 10% crit, just cause it won't really help, but you know, it's there. Really high attack for a tank. I don't think the investment is worth it, but if you really like this suit, then I guess. Increase max HP by 10. Invasion is decent, so yeah, it seems like a complete tank. Like, the last attack is pretending like it will do a lot of damage, but it's a low attack stat. It's not even worth it in my opinion, because from what I can see in the main game, that really won't help. So decent tank, not the best or better. Which one was the other one that I was covering? The tank, I think the Zaku is better than it. Alright, the Genis and Neo. Sorry there was noise. This is a attacker, alternative series, mono eye, free done, specialized unit. So if you plan to use this alternative series, 64,000 HP. For an attacker, that's basically the norm. 243 energy, meh. Movement 4, meh. 74,000 attack is pretty good. 61,000 defense, decent. 65,000 mobility, decent. Beam Saber, increased critical damage by 20, but only a 5% critical, so meh. Pretty high attack though, decent attack. Beam Rifle to the free range, 32,000 attack, decent. Giant Bazooka, which you will probably only be using, to the free range, 4,000 attack, 31 energy. Deal more damage to the enemy the higher remaining your hit is, up to 5%, which, meh, whatever. If you're going to use this suit, you're only going to be using the Giant Bazooka. That's basically all this suit has to offer. Decent attack, and a 10% if you choose to use the skill, so that's a 15% damage up if you really go full throttle, which, there are better units, so if you really need to use this, Giant Bazooka only. But yeah, that's the Genis and Neo Custom. Pretty meh unit overall. You're only going to use one attack. Alright, let's keep going. Covered this. Perfect Strike is a freebie. The Guaz Commander type was from the gacha, I believe. 64,000 HP, the norm. 273 energy on the higher side. 5 mobility, which is good. 74,000 attack, good. A little mid defense. Good mobility. I'm already getting I've been talking a long. Increased critical damage by 10, 32,000 attack, decent. 23 energy, decent. 5% crit, so not really worth it. The Extensional Arrestor, whatever. 1 to 3 range, 3,000 power, 20 energy, 100% accuracy, and 0 crit, so meh. MAA M21G Beam Rifle, 2 to 4 range, 38,000 power, 30 energy, Deal more damage the farther you are up to the enemy, and with the 4 range, that's decent, but the attack power is pretty low, so decent, not really great. Increase attack by 10%, increase critical damage by 10%. One of the only ones that have this, so I guess you could like combo with the beam claw. Problem is you only have 5% crit, so meh. If you somehow manage to land it, I guess that would be good, but whatever. Decent attacker, not the greatest though. I think we are almost done here. These are all freebies. This one kind of impressed me, the Sword Calamity. Really low HP, but I think its attacks make up for it. 270 energy, 5 movement, 74,000 attack, really good. 61,000 defense, solid, and 64,000 mobility, also solid. So it's basically a glass cannon. Anti-ship sword, Schwag Way, increased critical damage by 20, and with a 10% chance, that's actually not bad. 45,000 attack is also really good for an SSR, one of the higher ones. 38 energy, not bad. Decent range. Beam Boomerang, Medius Messer, which 2 to 3 range, 3,000 power, decent. 19 energy on the better side, so if you want to save energy. 58,000 multi-phase energy cannon Cilia, which, try saying that 10 times. Deal more damage the farther you are to the enemy. You're going to be farther away because of the range, so that's good. You basically get 5% out of 35,000, so that's decent. And with decent energy consumption, like you can either go with this or the anti-ship sword, which will do pretty good damage because of the power. Increase attack by 10% and reduce damage taken by 20%. Most siege suits have this, but the fact that an attacker has it is really solid. So yeah, this is one of the better SSRs, probably the second SSR I would recommend from this guide, just because it pretty much does everything: long range, close range, and with good skills, so, and decent stats. So yeah, second best SSR in my opinion from this guide. Anyway, this guide is based off the beta. Anybody still, keeping up or skipped here? Alright, we will go with the Hakurin, because I was a gacha unit, also an attacker. I will tell you right now, it will not blow your mind. It's decent, but man, 64,000 health, HP good, 270 energy good, 5 mobility good, 74,000 attack good. Like its stats all look good, but its attacks are pretty meh. Single edge blade, 35,000 attack, a little bit on the higher side. Damage by 20, 5% crit, 130 assault rifle. Really good range, 4,000 attack, which is good. 31 energy. Deal more damage to the enemy, higher rating health, which is already solid, so you're probably going to be using this a lot if you use this unit. Evolving chamber grenade launcher, which there's really no reason why you would use it. You might as well just use the assault rifle. That's your go-to right there. Really high attack and decent range. So increase attack by 10%, reduce damage taken by 20%, which is also really good. Not as good as the Sword Calamity. It's basically a slightly worse version, but if you need an Iron Blood, if we do get the story mission, this will be pretty solid enough. So yeah, I think the third best in my opinion. I don't know why I was talking trash about it. I do not remember, the beta was like 4 months ago, but yeah, probably the third best. I don't remember this one. I'll cover it either way, but I do not remember if it was a gacha unit or not. 75,000 attack, HP, solid. 243, meh. Movement 5, solid. 61, solid. 74,000 defense, really good. And 54 mobility, meh. Nightblade, decrease attack by 20%, really good for a tank. You always want that for a tank unit. Mid range, decent power, 5% crit just cause. Oh, only has 1 attack. I guess that kind of makes up for it. Increase defense by 10%, reduce damage by 20%. So if you use both of these abilities in one turn, you basically get a 30% defense up while reducing their attack by 20. Pretty much a pure tank in every sense of the word. So if you want something that's really tanky, here you go. Really high defense too. I think that was in the gacha. I do not remember. So alright, Gundam Aerial, that was a freebie. This was the event unit, so I believe this was in the banners too. So these two are the last ones left. Guy and K was a freebie, so we will cover the Haro and the Hoppolis. This is a mobile armor, so they are bigger, they will take more space. 71,000 HP, really low for a tank, but it's a mobile armor, so 260 energy on the higher side, 5 movement, good, really mid attack, really high defense, which is good, and mobility is meh. Haro Drill Punch, 32,000, whatever. Haro Bubble, 3 to 4 range, 38,000 in power, decent. 29 energy, which decrease accuracy level 1 for 1 turn, inflict accuracy down 5% on the enemy, which is really meh. Haro Bits, range 1 to 2, 4,000 power, 33 energy, 100% accuracy, decrease attack by 20%, which, you know, you always want that for a tank. So problem is, this is a mobile armor, so you're really going to have to go up to them to use this. It's not bad, but you know, there are better options. Increase defense by 10% and reduce damage taken by 40%, which is really good. So yeah, not the tankiest unit. I think the Graze will be a little bit better overall, because you have a limit to these abilities in the long run. If the match lasts longer, I think the Graze is better. But if the match is short, the mission, then, and if you have the space for the Haro, then I guess if you really wanted a tank, then I guess you can spam these for like 2 turns. So yeah, solid. Very just solid tank. It won't blow your mind, but you know, solid. And the last one we will cover in this very long video is the Halfest Gundam, an attacker, alternative series, G generation, 64,000 HP, which is on the typical lower side, 270 energy, 5 movement, 74,000 attack on the higher side, 55,000 defense on the lower side, and then 64,000 mobility, which is decent. Beam Saber, increased critical damage level by 20%, decent. 10% crit, you always want that for these kind of things, so decent. Cross Mega Beam Cannon, good range, good power, decent energy. And then the best thing about it is the Feather Funnel, 2 to 4 range, 31,000 attack, 22 energy, really low cost about everything. Slightly worse version of the Cross Mega Beam Cannon, but I think it makes up for it with its energy cost. But if you want the most damage, go for the Cross Mega Beam Cannon. Same range and all that. Deal more damage the lower your health is. You don't want that for an attacker, so the Cross Mega Beam Cannon will probably be better, yeah. Increase attack by 10% every time when your phase begins. Restore HP by 5%. So I basically covered every unit from, at least from the beta, that you will probably want to re-roll on, Charles Gelgu and all that. Make your own assumptions if you want to re-roll. I believe the GN Sniper 2 is number 1 in my opinion. Number 2 would probably be the, do I want to say the Graze? No, Sword Calamity, yeah. Graze would probably be 3rd. Just because it is a pure tank, it will tank, and that's pretty much it. Nothing else. It's a tie between these two for 4th and 5th. But yeah, that's the SSRs. Wherever they will hold up to the test of time, who knows? There will be other SSRs, so it's going to be a challenge to see which one stands out on top. But yeah, there is a reroll guide if you need a reminder. 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Anyway, long video. If you watched, thank you if you watched it all. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Tell me your thoughts. If you watched it all, you'll be rolling for Exia. I believe it will stand the test of time against all these suits and little Exia bias. But yeah, that's about it, guys. Take care.